IVM.
Long ago, three young men decided to form an alliance and get into a future. The three men were Amar, Akbar, Anthony, and the film, of course, was beautiful. But we have three other men who formed a geek fruit. Not so interesting story. But their future is all about science fiction, nerd culture, and comic books. That's right. If you're too lazy to read a full book, read a comic book. If you're too lazy to read a comic book, let Geek Fruit tell you about a comic book. And comic books. New episodes out on the IVM podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from. Kripaya dhyan dijiye. The language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Okay, cock and bull, and we meet Vivek Kaul after a long time. He's not been arrested by the government, but he should be, and you'll know why in a second. Cock and bull.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
All right, just come back from Japan. What a wonderful country. You just have to go straight from India, take a right, and then keep going straight, and everything is disciplined and organized. And what beautiful point for me walking the streets of Tokyo is there was no sound whatsoever. People are very polite and very careful about, not violating noise pollution and you coming into your noise space, so to speak. Mobile phones all on silent. You never hear a ring, not a ringtone, not one of those stupid Indian sounds that you hear. Ding, 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 none of that. It's just beautiful. And then finally, after about 1 hour walking on the streets of Tokyo, I heard that ringtone. Ding, 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 ding. And yes, it was a bloody Indian. I had to find a fellow Indian who immediately went, bol! It's called Cyrus Says. No, it's called Cock and Bull. We'll be right back.
The modern world is obsessed with food and agriculture. Everywhere you look, new and exciting technologies are bringing food innovation to your street market, your grocery store, your doorstep, and your plate. From our quest for the perfect food photos to our rediscovery of ancient grains. Quite simply, food has never been sexier. But guess what? The modern food system is broken. It's a major cause of climate change, antibiotic resistance, and global poverty. So how did we get here? And where are we going? Most importantly, how are we going to feed 10 billion people globally by the year 2050 through better, more sustainable means? I'm Warrern Deshpande.
And I'm Ramya Ramurthy. And we work for the Good Food Institute, a global non-profit accelerating the transformation to a more healthy, sustainable, and just food system. The next food revolution is here. On Feeding 10 Billion, we're giving you the inside view. You can tune into us every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Cock and Bull is the name of the show, and we have a very depressed-looking guest here today, along with Abbas, Amit, and myself. Mr. Kaul is back with 4 records in journalism in the last 3 months, but not from Indian establishments of any kind. He's been recognized in Western, Eastern, and Northern South America.
Even in Antarctica.
Antarctica, where they have democracy, I'm told.
Yes.
And they have a government. No governors rule there. So can we start at the top here, which is, as we record this or as we discuss this, Maharashtra is still in a Mexican standoff. What a funny term that is.
No, I mean, the analogy I gave yesterday on Twitter was like, it's like the race movies. The twists just keep coming and you don't know what is happening beyond a point.
When someone of your intellectual capacity has to use a metaphor that includes the race movies, not alone race 1, which was bearable, but the forthcoming sequels, that's a bit scary for me.
So that tells you the irony of it all. So.
But it changes so fast though, right? I mean, the second I feel like, okay, this might be the way that things are going, just like next day it's like something else altogether.
But what is the main issue here is that the chest thumping that happens about ideology and the strength in their political conviction, that just goes to pieces because you just need numbers and it really doesn't matter what. I'm saying that if they allowed foreigners, then foreigners will also be brought in immediately to form the government because we just need the numbers. Nobody cares, including the neighbor, whoever it is, as long as we have the numbers.
I mean, for all we know, you might be invited to form the government.
And why not? I couldn't have done more wrong than them. And just imagine Shiv Sena and Congress holding hands and dancing at a party together. Unheard of. But possible. Only in India.
Yeah, but when PDP and BJP could come together,
there you go.
There's nothing surprising after that.
That's what I'm saying. So we should not take our politicians so seriously. It's very clear that all this political ideology is bullshit. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, they are also entrepreneurs at the end of the day. So
if that's the spin you want to give it, I want to say that it's the Machiavelli going in the completely wrong direction, or Kautilya, whoever wants to claim end justifies the means. And I think end justifies the means makes sense, but under that there's a sort of silver lining thing. There's a benevolence towards that thought, and some greater good will come out of it, etc. But when it's just for the sake of getting numbers and forming a government, after that nobody cares anyway, right, as far as the people in power are concerned. I think it just, for me, it's hilarious that ideology and all these things that you fight over, and realms of newsprint and electronic print and all that, and after all that it means nothing, because you'll sleep with anyone in order to end justify the means.
I mean, which is precisely what happened in...
Sorry, Mr. Kaul, we had a bit of a technological issue here for a second. Some member of the left came into the studio, said we weren't mentioned even once in forming the government. Who knows? Maybe a communist government, Maharashtra, is the answer to all our evils.
Yeah, so what I was saying was, something similar happened in Haryana as well, where the newly formed JJP went against the BJP all through the, run up to the election, and then they formed the government.
Switched parties immediately. And may switch again. It may not even last. There's no question.
I mean, as I said, it's all entrepreneurship at the end of the day. And you'd rather be in government than not be in government.
Yeah, and you'd rather be in government with whoever. So it's like you can marry the ugliest woman ever in the world. Oh, man, let's not get gender parity is important. You can marry the ugliest man in the world as long as you're married. Marriage is key. Abbas, the metaphors that we are using here are mind-boggling, and a lot of people are tuning out, saying these people are mad. Right. And since we do not talk about narcotics on this show at all, there's no reason that we can give them for some of the things we've said so far.
Yes.
So, but you haven't contributed, and you're a Mumbai boy sitting here in the middle. Have we become so cynical as Mumbaikars? We just don't bother anymore. We don't have a government, but nobody cares. No one's mentioned it except three of us here in the studio.
The government?
The fact that we don't have a government is what? 10 days have passed.
I mean, even when we have a government, we don't have a government.
True. Make the jokes. But the point of the matter is the formality of having a government should be in place. Otherwise, you look stupid.
No, but loyalties and ideologies and people bending over backwards for the greater good or the seat is as old as the politics itself, right?
May I interrupt?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think it's bending over forward. I tried bending over backwards, and that's very difficult to do. Because actually what that means is that your waist is facing this side, the open side, and your head is against the other side.
It's the yoga thing, no?
You try it, Amit Doshi. Don't talk big. Try it.
I'm not... do I look like somebody who can do that? But no,
one of the other topics that we were going
Abbas has just ignored me completely.
No, I'm trying to link it. So
No, I mean, we're not done with this yet.
No, we're not. But I was just trying to link it. So one of the other topics we had was the Ayodhya verdict, right?
Right.
When the verdict came out, the Congress's statement was like the Congress is in favor of the building of the temple. Well, then why did you wait 25 odd years to say that? Right. So it goes with whatever is wherever the
devil cites scriptures for his purposes.
Wherever the river is flowing, might as well, Behti Ganga mein haath dho lena.
Looking for references.
I mean, a better since
idiom.
Idiom in Hindi is jidhar dhalan udhar ludko.
Yeah.
I'll translate that into the from Pali and Prakriti in the old languages.
Wherever the slant is, roll that way. So I roughly translate.
Yes.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
In fact, since we are talking idioms and metaphors, there was this old Mahmood movie.
Right.
I don't recall the name. But there's a song in that movie.
I hate to be so picky, but wouldn't it be an old movie with Mahmood?
Yeah, I know.
Mahmood being old in the movie. So I don't know. It's like this bending over backwards.
Fair point,
Thank you.
Cyrus.
Thank you so much.
Point taken. There was a Mahmood movie in which there was a song ki na biwi na bacha na baap bada na bhaiya. The whole thing is that ki bhaiya sabse bada rupaiya, which is true about all these political formations, because you would rather be in government and make some money than...
I want to ask you this. Now, democracy and being in the forefront of it, we use the phrase largest democracy. Thanks to our numbers, it gives us the world record all the time. China's claiming it as well, but that's funnier than us. Democracy should evolve into a point where, the machinery is a little smoother, one would think, right? Rather, the process is more smooth and the sort of results are more sort of normal. But we seem to be going the other direction. With every election, the most strange things seem to happen.
Yeah, but see, that is, when you are on a multi-party system, one once in a while situations like this will get thrown.
It's not once in a while. You just mentioned Haryana immediately. They're almost sister concerns, and there were the only two big elections happening at that time, which is ridiculous. These are two huge states.
What's your option, right? Your option is the US type system, which is a
No, my option is one second. My option was the crux of the issue, talking about Maharashtra.
So I'll tell you what the crux is.
The crux of the issue, was there a promise given? It looks like there was a promise given to the Shiv Sena. I can't understand why they would be lying. There was a promise given that 50-50 will happen. I hate to use this infantile phrasing.
Yeah.
Pyar ka wada.
I was about to say the same thing. Rajesh Khanna and Tina.
We did it in our show. We did it in our show as well. I mean, but it just matches so perfectly. I was sacked both Tina and Rajesh Khanna.
In fact, they produced it also.
What are you saying?
Yeah, it was their joint production.
I remember that. Yes, it was the first movie that they did together after they started seeing each other.
I have no idea about that, but yeah, they were seeing each other once upon a time.
Look where we digress. I'm trying to save Maharashtra and Haryana 1 yard at a time. And you bloody Indians with your Bollywood fixation. Uska affair chalu tha na tab.
Tina right, Abbas? For all we know, we might get sued by Anil Ambani.
We want him to buy our podcast.
I hope you have enough money. I mean, hire a lawyer.
Well, I mean, like compared to Anil Ambani, I think I have lots of money, right, today.
No, that's not true.
Which is what I meant. So yeah.
So the whole thing is the process should get better and evolve in the direction of the process and discipline being better.
So what is happening is, earlier you had the BJP and the Congress. Congress was stronger.
So it was almost two parties.
There were almost two parties. Yeah. Now there are other parties coming up which are sort of trying to claim the space that Congress is vacating.
But all the other parties form a third option which plays a very big role.
Yes. So look at what happened in Haryana, right? Yeah. I mean, there was BJP and there was a little bit of...
He became the kingmaker, basically.
Yeah. So I guess either the Congress...
So in this sense, Shiv Sena is the kingmaker, if you want to use that phrase. In this sense of 50 odd seats.
Because even Congress and Shiv Sena or Congress and NCP...
No, if NCP and Congress...
If all three of them come together, then they have
look at
space.
NCP and Congress are combined for now, at least in Maharashtra, which they are to some extent. And then, so Shiv Sena has that position actually of if they want, they can form a government with Bade Bhaiya or with other Bhaiya. I don't want to see Chote will cause trouble.
No, but it's interesting. The thing that I would say is a problem over there is that in all of these cases, Shiv Sena is still the junior partner, right?
Yeah, that's the other complex issue here, that the BJP doesn't ever want to look like they've compromised too much. They want to be the Dada. They want to be the Ilaka ka king or Don or whatever. Just think about it for a second. Why are they not bending? Because they actually can lose Maharashtra, one of the biggest states, if not the biggest.
No, see, what has also happened is, over the years, BJP has sort of gotten into the space that Sena used to claim. So why bend? I mean,
no, you're talking about ideology. Now
I'm not talking about ideology. I'm talking about the fact that they probably
why bend? Because you won't form the government.
So they are...
Uddhav has pushed them into a corner. Now, why are they not looking at options to save the...
They're probably looking at it for a slightly longer term. And I think that... No, I mean, so imagine a situation where the three other parties come together and they make a mess.
So BJP is out. No, but the mess will happen after some time. No?
So what? I mean, no, but then when they come back they're so
far
on
thinking.
Their own. I mean, it looks like that.
Now, far right thinking is different from far thinking. Let me just tell you. Yeah.
I mean,
I just can't understand that, because ultimately, as a politician, you got to think. It's all about chess.
See, it's also an ego issue.
Percentages
between Amit Shah and.
So what really happened? Can someone tell us who promised who?
I'm not the guy. I wasn't the fly on the wall, Cyrus. So.
I can't believe they have to. How can the Shiv Sena make this up? And then
whatever
hold on to
deal that must have happened prior to the elections, one of I think they overperformed. So now they're like, we have more leverage, so we can demand more.
Now, only thing I can think of is Amit Shah spoke in Gujarati and Uddhav spoke in Marathi. And that was the problem. Sometimes in language, we have a situation where people don't understand exactly what happened. For example, Lund and Blockley in Swedish are names. Don't try that in Haryana. Never try that in Haryana.
Even in Maharashtra.
The names?
Yeah. No,
popular names.
Don't try it in Maharashtra.
On that happy note, we can move to the next topic since we don't have a government.
Right, so
although remember, we didn't have 12 days of Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, which didn't happen. 13 days. Yeah. And apparently, our GDP went up and everything like that. It's not a joke. Things were looking rosy.
No, that particular window of time, so we had a new prime minister almost every year, no?
Yeah.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Devegowda,
there was also
Gujral.
Yeah, it was also Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Chandrasekhar was for a while, right?
Before. I.K. Gujral he was the silent prime minister before Manmohan Singh.
Okay.
He had to break the record. Yeah. I still say, having a PM who nobody kind of remembers is a good sign.
In fact, the word silent has triggered another Tina Munim song, but...
I wish you'd be silent.
No, so there's this movie called, I think it was Rajiv Rai's...
How Tina Munim has hijacked our show.
Yeah. There's a Rajiv Rai movie called Yudh.
The guy got shot.
Oh, yeah, I remember that movie. That was 48 hours, right?
Sorry?
Wasn't that 48
I
hours?
have no idea.
No, that's
so I think Jackie Shroff and Tina Muneem had a song in it, We Are Silent Lovers. So.
Oh, okay.
Could you sing maybe 4 to 8 lines?
No, it's just, let's not.
If that doesn't get the government to form itself, I don't know what will.
Rajiv Rai got shot.
Yeah, I mean, then he left the country, and
so there was this.
But he didn't die. He got shot, but he survived.
Those were the days when the underworld
I
was giving them these fake scares and all that.
Yeah.
They would scare them.
No, they shot a couple of guys.
But that was to scare everybody.
Gulshan Kumar, Mukesh Duggal.
There you go.
I do this bit.
Oh, in fact, I think Sonam has left him, no? So,
yeah. Is that so? I can't remember now. But sorry, you do this bit?
I was saying in America, the rappers like Tupac and Biggie get shot. In our part of the world, Gulshan Kumar gets shot. So like, he's our version of Tupac and Biggie.
Insensitivity in this comedy.
It's been like more than a decade since he died.
No, it's been more than 2 decades, but still, Gulshan Kumar still runs the film industry. So.
We attack the heavyweights, not the poor artists.
Of course.
Well, not poor, that's for sure.
Cyrus was thinking of cutting an album with T-Series. So there goes his...
Listen, at MTV, we had a show which didn't see the light of day for reasons I can't explain because it would have been a great one. We sat down and found videos which were terrible. And I'm talking about the late 90s. That was the king of terrible times.
Yes, it was.
I mean, there was such nonsense. Papa the Great was in the top 10. If you guys remember the title song, Papa the Great, we just mentioned the family and all that.
Yes.
And just, you are my Papa the Great. Just the acting and the clothes. I mean, it was just fabulous. There was one guy called Anup something, a singer, who was dressed as a cowboy, going up and down a valley in Gujarat or Maharashtra, and doing all kinds of Clint Eastwood expressions with a song which was completely nothing to do with the West.
No, not Anup Jalota.
No. Anup Jalota I know. It's lesser known. I'm not that bad. I live in South Mumbai, Parsi origins and all that. Doesn't mean everything is Mozart, Beethoven. There's a couple of things here and there. Anup Jalota poster is in my house.
Pankaj Udas lives on Altamount Road.
He's married to a Parsi.
Fuck, man. I mean, how much money
he's as westernized as you can get. Pankaj is a Xavierite. Yeah.
Even
and Parsi wife looks at me and he starts laughing. I married a Parsi. I don't know what that meant, but he does it all the time.
No, that joke should be on your wife. Right?
I don't. Not my wife, his wife.
No, in the sense your wife also married a Parsi.
That's true. You're smart. You're sharp. You can form the government all on your own with no support.
Yeah.
So imagine a political party becomes like a bra because you have to support the other party. That's basically your role. Too much? After you abuse families and you abuse cultures, Amit has left the room.
We're all going to get sued.
I know, really. Don't point fingers.
Yeah. Everybody will get sued.
Right, back to Abbas and topics.
The Ayodhya verdict came out.
Okay, so I've got this. There's a guy, a great legendary Marathi actor who passed away, Sudhir Joshi. Yeah. And I remember that we went to see a play together and we had to go backstage as you normally do, right? And if you don't like the play, what do you say? So we were discussing this, what do you say? Because when you go backstage, it's always a little, if you don't like it, people can see through you. So he said that you must always use the same line, as expected. So I use as expected for most things. When people ask me anything, how do you like my clothes? As expected. I just feel it's a very neutral place to be. So when the verdict came out, I told everybody, you don't want to ruffle feathers, not the right wing or the other side or whatever. Just say as expected. Because in many ways, that is the right answer.
Yeah, it is.
But as expected. There's a cynicism in it, yes, but fair enough.
But what do you think of the muted reaction, though?
I think it's just gone on so long that in a way they picked the right time to have this verdict come out. If the momentum of an election was there or something else was there, perhaps it would have, the repercussions would have been long and long. I'm very happy I was in Tokyo. Yeah. So I didn't know for about 15 hours myself. But I was hoping that it would be a little more neutral.
Right.
But it is what it is. Right?
I feel like there was just like fatigue to this whole thing, right? It was just like, okay, this is over.
Is it?
Do you think so?
No, but you'll use it. It'll be used. No, it'll be used as a thing to pull people together or against each other.
I think there are 2-3 points here. One is obviously it's not over and the surprising thing is that a lot of senior journalists, including Shekhar Gupta, have written pieces where they have sort of hope. They hope that this is over and now the government can concentrate on other important things, including the economy, which
is traveling. Sorry, no. Be specific.
Yeah. Economy.
Economy.
And
the 4 trillion, right? 4 trillion by March 15th.
5 trillion, yeah.
5 trillion now, okay.
You've knocked off one.
I just, like I said, I'm a little low self-esteem.
Yeah, but then see, the thing, here's the thing. I mean, one is it will be used at opportune times. The second thing is, I think now, many more temples where there are.
Oh God, you're right. The domino effect.
It will happen. I mean,
and not just there'll be churches, there'll be others. There'll be no end to it.
One of these slogans in 1992, when the Babri Masjid came down, was "Ye to keval jhaki hai, Kashi Mathura baki hai."
Oh wow!
And the other thing here is the RSS started in 1925. 2025, they'll complete 100 years.
That'd be a big year for them to do things.
So there are
creative things, as you said.
Yes, I don't think this has come to an end.
Well, what if they say that your building is built on, temple ground or whatever, spiritual ground, or somebody fought a war here? I mean, there's no end to this. There's no science to it either. So I like this. This gives me a lot of power. I can just go and put my flag there and say, building quota, finish.
So if be careful if some right winger doesn't like you.
Let's get rid of Parel. I hate Parel.
You hate Parel.
Parel has been a pain in it's the rectum of South Mumbai.
Parel,
the rectum.
Or you mean Lower Parel?
Lower Parel. No, okay.
Because a lot of people in Mumbai, I don't know why, when they say Parel, they actually mean Lower Parel.
No, Lower Parel. I'll be specific.
Which is also Upper Valley these days. So.
It's no longer upper anything, all right? It's just getting in and out is a horror, a mess. So I think let's just get rid of that. So can we say that's holy ground?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
if it becomes holy ground, wouldn't it get more crowded?
But going back to Babri Masjid also, firstly, Babur himself was not a zealot. Whatever people say, he pretended to give up alcohol gave a big speech, this, that and the other, and went to fight. All right, but didn't care one way or the other. Nobody even looks at it from the historical perspective. When people fight and invaders come, these things happen. You can't take it personally for the next 10,000 years. How do you redress? Where does it end? I can go back and say, Rai is the first cross to the Indus. I don't know who will kill
that's the sad
Sikandar
part.
For that matter.
People are not bothered about, the more important issues in life. They are bothered about these things.
What about when we go abroad and build motels and all that and destroy the lovely architecture of Western civilization when suddenly you see one of our shops?
We as in, the Gujus go, yaar. Don't generalize.
Oh God, Mr. Kaul, you're going to start
The Gujus why? Don't generalize.
You're filled with the milk of human kindness.
So, and they build potels, not they don't build motels.
So in a way, although he's against the right-wing government, he himself is a bit of a right-winger. You get it? The irony there. He himself wants to polarize communities.
Deep inside, we are all right-wingers.
So the only right way is the right way. So Donald Trump comes back.
Yes.
A game, set and match. I think there's no question about that. But let's move on. Ayodhya, you didn't say anything.
No, what's to say? It's what it is, right? I honestly hope Vivek is wrong and that it is over.
Okay, are you a practicing Hindu?
I'm not a practicing
But vaguely
anything.
You consider yourself Hindu in some way or form?
Not really.
Although you're an atheist. So,
does
it bother you?
I'm Jain, right?
All right, you're Jain, so you're wrong person.
Please be specific.
Wrong person.
Not just so. The thing is that if you want to start getting into historical stuff,
I just don't know what is the emotive appeal. I was just thinking maybe there's an emotive appeal. Maybe you have it.
So it's like it's like Article 370. How many people actually understood what was taken away? But everybody loved it.
Did you feel that the temple should be built and that this really is Ram's birthplace and all? Did you feel that?
I'll be very honest. As a kid, I did. Mm-hmm. When I was up until my teens.
Right.
But after that, when you sort of come out of your own little world and see the world, talk to people. I thought it is just a ridiculous issue. So.
And not worth this kind of time and the kind of money and material and print that is spent on it.
Yeah. No, so
Abbas and me being minorities, I suppose our voice should not be heard in any functioning democracy. That is the way forward.
It was a Saturday, right, when the verdict came out. I had to actually come to office, but a day before
they shut down the city a little bit, right?
So that's all. My mother called me the night before and she told me don't go out of the house because the verdict is going to come.
And there were all these scary WhatsApp forwards going aroround. So I was in Bangalore and I had to sort of go from one part to another, which is anyway a pain in Bangalore.
Oh God, really?
Luckily, I got an Uber, but that guy wouldn't stop talking about the temple, and he was talking in Kannada, English, and Hindi.
But what was his view? Because language is not the issue; it's the view.
I don't know. He just kept saying, basically, why can't the Muslims give up the claim on the temple? So
give up the claim.
Give up the claim on the mosque, not on the. So that's all.
So he was clearly on one side of the verdict.
But the joke that I would want to share here is, I met a friend in Bangalore, and it seems his home help came up to him and said, "Ram Lal ka case decide ho gaya hai." So that
are we allowed to laugh?
Yeah.
No.
We've already insulted families.
Let's get permission from upper caste Hindus here and figure out what to do.
So you have an upper caste Hindu.
Correct. Brahmin.
It's okay, no problem.
You've given permission. Yeah. No, I think Abbas was trying to say something. I think
it's two things. It triggers the memory.
I like the mother's story because I was thinking, poor mother, suddenly the thing that they'll ask my son what religion you are and this and that and all that shit.
Because she lived through the riots that happened after I was very young. So it triggers the idea that...
And 93 they stopped us and asked us what religion you are and all.
And secondly, I thought to myself, had the verdict come in the other way, let them reclaim the land, I would be even more scared to step out. No, because then there's a very hostile environment where for something like this, even a fence sitter, right? Even the most moderate of Hindu, you rile it up so much.
It's not that, it could be an accident also, in a sense. Now, a mob behaving badly, you're just walking through.
Yeah.
I mean,
wrong place, wrong time.
Exactly. What have you got to do with anything?
Yeah.
They just say, "What's your name? Your name is Abbas." It's good enough for them. Or even they won't even find out sometimes. They just decide, that this is what.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I would have been even scarier to step out if the verdict had come the other way.
I mean,
my biggest worry is when there's a sort of Hindu victory of any kind, is that they'll go vegetarian for the day. And for me, I'm always thinking, oh God, is the celebration going to be no alcohol and vegetarian? Someone has to address
no
this
alcohol
also.
Was on in Bangalore. So.
There you go. So we have to look at this from all the different perspectives.
I was listening to a podcast about the Howdy Modi event that happened in Texas, and they were serving only vegetarian food there.
Yeah. So, but you know that Donald Trump is almost vegan. Well, he's not vegan, but he's a teetotaler.
He eats KFC and McDonald's all the time. Teetotaler. So
the two big guns, they don't drink. What do they care about the rest? Yeah.
The organizers said that was probably the first ever public event in Texas with only vegetarian food.
Texas and vegetarian. That's something. He's got a lot of power, that man. No doubt about it. We're taking a break so quickly.
Yep.
We've spoken too much on just 1.5 topics. But Ayodhya, our last words are as expected. As expected.
Safe.
Hi, I'm Sarayu Natarajan.
And I'm Alok Prasanna Kumar.
And we are the hosts of the Ganatantra podcast.
On this podcast, we speak to academics, social scientists, journalists, and activists to find out what's actually going on in Indian politics.
On this podcast, we stay away from personality politics, intrigue, and gossip, and instead focus on the data, research, and analysis that drives all this.
So tune in to the Ganatantra podcast, where new episodes are out every Wednesday on the IVM podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And we're back here on, what's it called?
Cock and Bull.
Cock and Bull. We'll call it Cocks and Kings if they're willing to pay for it, but as of now, only Indian branches. Indian branches going fine.
Yeah.
Lovely story.
That's not Cocks and Kings, that's Thomas Cook.
Oh, sorry.
Cocks and Kings is shut down.
No, I think
Thomas Cook is shut down.
Thomas Cook is the one that that's the international.
You can't shut down if your name is Cox. Not in India. In India, you can go on and on for some reason. All right, so we finished with two very important stories: Maharashtra's stalemate, which may or may not still be there as we speak, and the Ayodhya verdict, which also after the verdict will quick last two words on it, which is that building of the temple and what exactly happens. There was the other point that I read in the declaration, which is somewhat we will build a mosque not too far away, but within 5
acres of land, prominent land in Ayodhya.
Yeah. So what exactly?
It doesn't mean anything actually.
Nothing.
I don't know what qualifies as prominent.
Actually, Javed Akhtar put out a tweet saying that a hospital should be built on that land and everyone should be allowed.
That's very romantic.
When they had that middle. No, one second,
okay. I mean,
when they had that
romance is
okay. When they had that group of that committee that was supposed to be a mixed community and neutrals, let's say Parsis and Jains and all that, and when they came together, they had come up with this, which is pretty obvious. Any rational person would be okay. Don't build either of the two, since that's the fight. Build a third thing. You know.
But then again, it becomes us versus them. Oh, they get to build a temple. Why do we not get to build a mosque?
No, the thing is that people are saying to redress the wrong. The wrong being that you destroy the temple in the first place. So the redress the wrong is different from what should we do there. So that's now the verdict is in as expected, and we just have to. Mr. Kaul is not saying anything about it.
I mean, I said so much. If my father happens to hear this,
if you were that's why I asked you.
I'm likely
that's
to
why
be
disowned. I asked you if there's an emotive.
I mean, not that he has much money.
But that's why I asked you if there's an emotive connect, because you never know with people. Sometimes people have an emotive
connect. In my family,
yes.
Yeah, of course.
And if you're a Brahmin family which has been brought up with a certain amount of scriptures and understanding of whatever.
No, not really.
But birthplace and things like that, I'm sure you'll be, it would have an emotive appeal. It may have.
In my immediate family, yes. Yeah. Not me.
Like in our religion, which is the religion of me. No, sorry. Back to politics, which is similar. Yeah.
The Delhi police and lawyers have been clashing a lot.
It's quite hilarious. I just saw the videos.
But getting pretty ugly now. It started with a parking.
Yes, but that's the issue. No, I've been saying screaming, and you call me elite and call me names and this and that.
I thought of you when I was reading this.
Ayodhya verdicts and your poverty and casteism and communalism and nuclear proliferation. Screw you all. The corruption. Who cares? The real problem in India has been parking for the last 20 years. No one is taking it up seriously. I'm the only one shouting from the rooftops. Parking, and look at lawyers beating up a poor policeman, a Delhi policeman. You all know the Delhi policemen are kind, courteous, sweet, good-natured humanitarians who hold your hand and make you cross the road slowly, who stop traffic for everybody, who never go behind the VIP and slap you on the face because you're standing next to him. They're really nice people. I love them. I love, Amit. I love. Me Delhi paije.
No, but to tell you the truth, not that Delhi lawyers are any better. So,
I think Delhi lawyers is an educated version of the.
No, not really. Are they educated?
Yeah, well,
you need to go experience the lower judiciary in Delhi to figure out
understand
how
humanity.
This happens in Delhi regularly, right? Where lawyers
it was basically they didn't want to park where they had to park.
They didn't want to be told. It's always ego. They want to be told what to do. I think it's when you go to North, these scraps over these things happen all the time. Exactly. You forget lawyer, police and all that just before you know
it's just a scrap between,
just
but
ego.
Then it accelerated a lot, right? Apparently they took the lawyer into the lockup, and that's when it really kind of got this, right?
I mean, how can you arrest a lawyer?
Of course not. Lawyers never do anything wrong.
But it isn't this
your turn, boys. I'll keep quiet. Go for the wakils.
They even thrashed Kanhaiya Kumar when he was arrested. So there's becoming a history of lawyers thrashing.
Kanhaiya Kumar getting arrested has got a very political tinge. Being
arrested is getting thrashed.
Thrashed has a political tinge to it. Okay, the masters are very happy to karo karne ka, that kind of thing. I'm sure.
See, it's like this. Anyway, in the lower judiciary, the lawyers don't have much work. So, agar koi pitne ke liye mil gaya. It is all the frustration that comes down.
Also, they believe in their own caste system. The policeman is below them. So how dare the policeman? We have the same thing in South Mumbai with the watchman. When the watchman tells you not to park, it's the way he talks. Always the problem is the way he talks. It's really the fact that he's told you, can you not park? If someone politely comes and says, "Kaul ji, aap yahin pe nahi, aap wahan pe kar sakta hai," whatever, you probably would not react badly ever. But unfortunately, in India, nobody seems to ever. This whole Tamil culture. Let's start a podcast only on talking politely. You are from UP. Yeah. And
I knew you were going to say
and you are from Ranchi via Kashmir or something. So between the two of you, come up with a nice Tamiz-like culture for us. One thing I really enjoy when I go to UP is listening to people speak. It may be fake respect a lot of them, but at least they're nice. They actually speak very nicely to each other.
Which part of UP were people nice to you?
Lucknow and hotels. So, yeah.
Lucknow has some tehzeeb, so.
Very, very, very nice. Very, very cordial and, sort of gentleness to it. Which coming from now, Mumbai has become so raw and coarse, Hey. The way we talk.
But the people in Bombay, by and large, are very helpful.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they are.
I also, I somewhat agree with this.
Cyrus, you need to live in Delhi for a while.
Out of the four of us, I think I spend the most time in Delhi. Yeah, I find Delhi actually very hospitable for me.
I don't know how.
I really enjoy
what you're talking about.
I find Bombay actually fairly polite.
Delhi people are more familiar, so they talk to you more. It's easy. I find Mumbai people want to keep to themselves. If they recognize you, it's different. Then they come and talk to you out of context from anything else. But generally speaking, Mumbai is very insular and keeps to himself.
But isn't that good? Everybody keeps to
himself.
I like it.
I'm a snob.
I don't want to talk to people if I don't have to.
And I don't want to talk to people who look like me. I'm like, if I want to do that, why would I, live here? I mean, ridiculous. I wait for some foreigner to pass and I say, "What's up, mate?" And then, of course, he screams at me in Spanish.
Okay, something good happened. The Kartarpur corridor was inaugurated, which allows Sikhs from India to visit the Gurdwara in Pakistan.
And we're recording on Guru Nanak Jayanti.
Yeah.
We're working on a holiday.
Good luck for all of us, let's hope. Yeah, but, I'm a little biased towards Imran because he's a great cricketer. And secondly,
And B, good looks.
You can't fault him there either. Come on, if that's the reason. No, but I think maybe we need more things like that to happen for these two countries to go in the right direction. But having said that, Kartarpur is not going to solve all the issues that we seem to have, and maybe there's just no hope, and we will never see India play Pakistan again in Chennai or in Karachi as we did when we were young. Which is a very sad thing for me. What to do? But let me talk to the expert, someone who's been to Pakistan.
And watched a lot of cricket.
Amit Doshi, yes.
Of course, yeah.
Who's very close to Imran Khan, the actor in Bandra.
Geographically.
Yes, so there are two Imrans with no work now.
Yeah, where has he disappeared?
No, but it's great, right? You want this kind of stuff to happen. More cultural exchanges, the more likely we are to kind of see things.
There was some controversy about paying the
$20 charge.
20 is it?
Yeah,
18.
but that's been done.
So that's been so now the Indian pilgrim doesn't have to pay. And the Pakistani pilgrim has to go back because generally they say we'll stay.
We do that over here at all of our stuff. Now you go to the Taj Mahal, and if you're an Indian citizen, it's like $20
it's
bucks.
horrible.
If you're
the way they fleece the foreigners.
I know 10 years back that you went to the Taj Mahal, you got a statue of Mayawati for free. So there were deals going on. Now apparently it's not there.
It was something crazy. It was like $1,200 or something like that for a foreigner.
So it's like
but how isn't that like xenophobia
so there's
racism of sorts?
There's a story about Ruskin Bond. Okay, poor guy,
who looks little foreign.
Who looks foreign, and he had to pay the dollar. But he had to pay $1 charge because he just
and he didn't have an Aadhaar card. See, no, the Prime Minister's right. If he had the Aadhaar card, he could show Ruskin Bond, popular Indian name in Dehradun.
And there were Sikhs with him who were visiting from Great Britain, British citizens.
But they look Sikh, so
they got away with the Indian charge. So.
This is racism.
I mean, it's horrible actually.
By the way, a foreigner who's lived in India for 90 days, I think, can get an Aadhaar card. If I'm not wrong,
Tom Alter, God bless his soul, they never got an Aadhaar card.
I don't know. I think you need to have residency, so I don't think 90 days covers.
See, Aadhaar, I think from what I understand, even though a lot of NRIs have Aadhaar cards, they can't.
It's residency, right? I mean, like it is, you have to establish.
But you can get some ID, like HR college.
I think that was one of the controversies. It might have changed since I read it.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who are foreign citizens.
Okay, listen, guys, you're missing the point.
I am a foreign citizen. I have an Aadhaar card.
You have Aadhaar card.
But you look Indian. You look Indian.
No, but what I'm saying is people who are not resident,
you should be paying the airline ticket the foreign rate.
No, because I buy the ticket. Ticket prices are based on origin of where you purchase the ticket.
Now, yeah,
not,
it's all
not
changed.
based on citizenship.
Okay, so should foreigners pay more?
So once upon a time they were based on
citizenship? Yes.
Yeah,
For my brother-in-law, we had to pay more money.
When you had to buy
foreign, came down.
So we've been fleecing foreigners for a while.
And blatant racism.
I remember
blatant racism.
1986, you had to buy train tickets out of a foreigner quota. When I had family coming from the US, maybe not 86, 83, 84, it was around that time. They were coming. We had to buy family ticket. We had to buy tickets for train out of a foreigner's quota. Yeah, which was significantly more expensive.
We've come a long way, Cyrus.
We are going towards 5 trillion. I don't know why you're being cynical. I can see 5 trillion. I'm saying Wednesday next week. Don't even look further than that. Silence. Beyond cynicism, it's like the idiot is talking, we just keep quiet.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, cool. So next one? All right. Elizabeth Warren has proposed a
billionaire tax.
Yeah, for which
so lefty or righty. Now they've got the two corridors. Either you go lefty or you go righty. There's no middle.
No, so this is a perpetual debate which has been.
But there's a point in it. If all these guys who are standing are billionaires, the perspective is very billionaire-y.
No, but then, it's you also have to take into account the fact that you cannot tax them beyond a point because it takes away incentives to produce wealth.
I disagree with... I agree that the formation should be a...
No, what I'm saying is this. So the debate is...
Is there secularism in taxes?
Oh, Baba. No, what I'm saying is this, that, the one argument is that when you are a businessman and you're a big businessman, you are taking a lot from the society, right? Anything from the rule of law, electricity, people working for you, educated people working for you.
Yeah, but it's not done as a favor.
No, it's not. What I'm trying to say is, so obviously, a certain level of tax is justified.
In a sense, you're contributing more to the society because of you and your vision and your hard work. So many people are employed and so much more is happening, and the state machinery is getting so much back.
Exactly. So, which is what I'm saying. So there are both arguments on both sides, and. But, at least, what I feel is the moment you start charging, let's say, 50% tax and stuff like that, that isn't good for
But land of the free, home of the brave, will this kind of ideology actually sink in? You'd think of them as the last bastion of capitalism.
There's a lot more. The younger people are more and more socialist.
Sort of, you think?
Younger people are more and more
I still think it's a New York vibe, man. It's a New York LA vibe,
If you look
because our Indian guys all go there, and so we have all our things from these 2-3 big cities.
You can see this in data, right? You can see this in poll data and stuff like that.
The younger American is a lot more
socialist. Saying that we are victimized and the rich man gets away with murder, that's what it comes down to.
In some ways it comes down to that.
That only happens in India, I think.
No, but I mean, there is a sense, right, that the people who have been able to benefit outsizedly, right? Now, I think one of the issues over here is that people kind of get into this idea that income inequality is inherently bad. Right, and income inequality is just the difference between what the lowest section of society makes versus what the upper section of the highest income sections of society make, right? Is it bad in and of itself, or is what's more important?
No. I think people feel, is the dice or is the die loaded against me? because it's too easy for X. And that the emotive content you get out of that kind of political speak is what works for a person like Elizabeth Warren, if it does at all. And my point is, do you have a market for that in America, where generally speaking people think
I'll just add to what Amit
sweat
saying.
And equity is everything.
No, what has been also been happening in America is that competition across sectors has been coming down. So because of that, the rich are becoming richer. So
the monopolistic business is booming.
Yes. So to counter that, I mean, how do you counter that? You counter that by through higher taxes. So, but having said that, now would a situation like that apply to India as well? So recently Abhijit Banerjee, who won the Nobel Prize and gave more interviews in 3 days than probably
the Prime Minister.
Than a Bollywood star does before a film releases, and he said the rich should be taxed.
Was it necessary to hit him below the belt with that one? I mean, again, you guys.
No, he was trying to sell a book. I have nothing against.
So that's what I mean. Capitalist philosophy. So lefty doesn't work.
Nothing wrong with that. So anyway, he was asked as to should the richer Indians pay higher taxes, and he said yes. But that is a very American perspective. Because, if you look at data, there are only around 98,000 Indians who have a gross taxable income of greater than 1 crore. So, we do not have enough rich to tax them. So
we need sponsors.
At least let's increase the number. Some of these 98,000 people.
Let's increase the number.
So I mean, it's not a general rule. It sort of depends on where you're coming from.
I think India and America are very different in terms of not just the amount of people that there are, but also in terms of the kind of services you get and the kind of compliance you will see if you increase taxes beyond a point.
And the Indian and Chinese millionaires don't count because they manage to pay their taxes elsewhere. But figure it out.
They will, right? I mean,
in spite of working in America.
Yeah, they will. I mean, if tax rates go beyond a point,
so
you will start
move to Dubai, no?
Yeah, you'll start seeing that.
Or you'll be someone like Jack Ma, who's actually somebody's pa, in spite of the fact that his name is Ma. You just have to be an iconic sort of, because where you land your feet in terms of taxes has got nothing to do with where you make your money
anymore.
You
know this, right? I mean, how many people do you know have established Dubai residency because tax rates were insane, right? There's so many people who have done that, right?
But the residency, that's a permit for a certain amount of time.
But I mean, you're paying your primary income taxes in Dubai, right? And then after.
But then it lapses.
Dubai has no income tax.
But that's what I mean. Primary filings happen.
You could get it for a period of time. It lapses. Can you do it again after that?
Well, yeah, you can keep. There are people who have been living in Dubai for like 40 years, man.
That's called jail. That's different. All right.
Can I just talk ideology-wise? Right now, America has a Republican president who prides on being a millionaire, right? Yeah. Even though he might be lying.
So they cross.
But then the front.
So you mean he doesn't even have a million? So
the two front-running Democrats, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, they are like we are with the common man, the working class guy. Right. So how do the Democrats and the placating and polarizing the Republic, those who voted for Trump in the previous election, if they want to get them, aren't you polarizing them further?
So it's also, I mean, it's very political.
I know so many Republican types in America who hate Trump. Right. Hate them. Yeah, all of my family and friends and stuff like that were all.
But his approval rating was still, it was lower than before, but still enough to win.
But I mean, he's got a hard floor over there, right? I mean, 35%.
So whatever you're saying, I'm saying at the moment if they had the election, he would still come back to power. Lower mandate than last time, but he'd still come back. 2 weeks back they ran one.
I don't think we know that yet.
Well, I don't know.
Something
these are sample studies.
Electoral college, which I don't understand. The electoral college holds a lot of
politicians to understand how they can form alliances in Maharashtra. Go to college, me kai boltos. Now you have to come with this person and that person, and you have to make an election.
So from stuff that I've read, right, Trump beats Elizabeth Warren, but he loses to everybody else. That's kind of what I've seen as.
What does that mean?
So if he's facing Biden, he loses. If he's facing Bloomberg, he loses. If he's facing Andrew Yang, he loses. If he's facing...
So who's this Andrew Yang?
He's interesting.
You just like the name. Because it sounds like a Tina Ammonium film from your past.
I'll tell you something.
Yang and Restless.
What will happen is, over the next 1 year, a lot of Indians, especially in Mumbai, Delhi, will talk American elections. So I also need to be a little...
Actually, you're right.
Because in 2016, I had no idea. I had no idea.
I would, in all likelihood, if Andrew Yang is still there as part of the Delaware primary, I'll probably vote for him.
I vote.
Well, yeah. So
I mean,
you do the absentee ballot.
Actually, there is okay.
Yeah, you do an absentee ballot. But if he is part of the Delaware primary, I would probably vote for him because I like his ideas.
America is so far ahead of us; they let Canadians vote. I mean, come on,
even Russians.
What?
Even Russians, I said, but never
No,
mind.
Russians decide. That's different, bro. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what I like about him is like
So their EVMs were also hacked, na?
I think EVMs were made here. So it's all a
So
question
इधर
of...
से ही hack करके गया था.
So their EVMs are a lot more complicated. They actually have software into it, right? Our EVMs are not that complicated. So our EVMs are in some ways easier to secure, but also easier to hack.
But
their EVMs are tougher to secure. And tougher to hack. But at the same time, it's tougher to secure as well.
I'm one of
right?
the 7 people who voted in this state election in Mumbai, South Mumbai. I must tell you that after you press your button, it took about 5-7 seconds for the damn thing to, come up.
But that's because there's no...
No, but whenever it takes longer, I get worried that things can happen. Like 5-7 seconds, something can happen.
But the slip was the same as the button you pressed, right?
Yeah.
No, but the reason is that there's no these EVMs that are made in India or made for the Indian elections are essentially like they're just very, very simple circuits. There's no operating system involved.
It appears to be a simple circuit.
Very simple kind of stuff.
Like a
just
toy. You
with
press a button and a little arrow comes and that's
I guess that makes sense also, given the scale at which...
Well, you want to have what is called cyber security and foolproof and this and that. You expect it to be a little more complicated. Huh?
No, you want it simple. Simple is easy. As long as you can physically
Simple doesn't mean that it can't be breached.
Huh?
Simple
You
doesn't
have
mean
to
it can't be
physically
breached.
secure the devices.
Which is what the Attorney General told the Supreme Court. No, they'll be inside a
See, the
room
less
with
you know
13
about
feet
tech
walls.
like myself, the more imaginative you are. So with a less tech guy like me, unlike say Amit, I'm already thinking 5 seconds. So it's gone to some server, and from the server it's changed, and then the software that decides.
it's not on a network.
They're not connected to the internet. They're not connected. They're extremely simple.
I don't know, mate.
All they do is press this button means this. That's all they do.
How does Netflix know I like the gangster genre and keep sending me Korean gangsters and Mexican gangsters and Arabic
because
gangsters?
Netflix is not just a simple circuit. Netflix has a lot more going on behind it.
So you can understand my trust has been broken.
Not Gangs of Wasseypur. वो मन नहीं
No, I wrote to Netflix saying I'm racist. मेरे को सारे दुनिया का gangster show दिखाऊं मगर इंडिया का नहीं.
इंडिया नहीं चाहिए.
Because I get that first hand, no? I step outside Mumbai and I see them. Yeah.
Dawood grew at Teen Batti, boss.
There you go.
He used to play carom with Jackie Shroff.
Yeah, and also Nagpada and all is 5 minutes away from my house. Like I can go anywhere. Kalia Anthony got shot in front of us. He was a famous gangster. In where Godrej Bagh is? On the outside part there. Where the Panwala and all are.
Yeah.
Is it insensitive to ask if he was dark skinned? His name was Kalia.
No, he would have been.
When the gunfire started and one vegetable vendor got shot in the middle, I remember telling my friend Vikram, run, and we were paralyzed with fear because
you were there.
It was just a few feet away from us, man.
Oh, wow.
We had gone to meet our friend Savan Daru. I had forgotten a cricket ball. We wanted to play. So I wanted to borrow a cricket ball. Could have died because of that. If I had just taken the rubber ball. It's like a bad Hindi film.
We've come full circle.
Imagine my parents telling the story, agar wo rubber ball ke saath khela to. It was something like that. But a true story. Yeah, so I grew up rough, man. Rough neighborhood, Malgai.
That's a good one.
We've come full circle from the shooting of Gulshan Kumar to the full shooting of...
Almost shooting of
Kalia
Anthony and Cyrus Broacha.
But he was also D-gang and all that. That's how we started knowing about all these guys. It was a gang encounter.
Right.
Some gang guys came on 2 motorbikes and shot him. And one poor vegetable vendor, that's I remember. Vikram Tharani and Cyrus Broacha escaped. Not on the list of that.
No, but there were so many.
The poor always get killed, Cyrus. So.
I remember hearing about so many of these back then, right? That used to happen, like, something is happening over here. And it was all
and
close by.
90s was gangster time, huh?
Yeah, 90s was big time gangster time.
As someone who stays in Baikala.
So it's only when Ram Gopal Verma started making movies all this stopped.
No, then they gave up being gangsters. They couldn't bear the portrayal on screen. They all became lawyers and doctors and engineers. But today's gangsters gone. You don't mess up with this. But Bollywood messes up communities and people just go berserk. Anglo-Indians have all left India because of the portrayal in Bollywood. Can we take a break?
Yeah, let's go to the AMAs.
Oh, AMA is better. Good idea.
Hey everybody, welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also like to thank Intel and Storytel for supporting us this month. Want to welcome a brand new show onto the network. It's called Peak Planet. It's hosted by research fellow and engineer Karthik Ganeshan. In every episode, Karthik discusses sustainability issues that affect Indians through evidence-backed information. In the first season, he dives deep into air pollution and the discourse around it. I think this is especially important given the situation across the country these days. On The Seen and the Unseen, Amit is joined by author and advocate Chitranshul Sinha. They talk about the historical background of the sedition law and discuss Chitranshul's book, The Great Repression. On The Origin of Things, Chuck narrates a story about a man who revolutionized the concept of fuel in Brazil through the Great Depression and World War II. On Edges and Sledges, the guys talk about the T20 match between India and Bangladesh. On Geek Fruit, Tejas and Dinkar are joined by the IVM producer Abbas. They talk about the new Terminator film Dark Fate and the past and future of the franchise. On Football Shitball, we have an exciting episode as our hosts discuss the aftermath of the biggest game this season, Liverpool versus Manchester City. It's a Children's Day special on IVM Lives as Madhuri, Alika, Rutika and Abbas talk about pop culture they consumed as children and reflect on how they perceive it now. On Gamey CD, Sunetra and Farhad share the list of their first, from their first kiss to their first queer experience to the first time queer representation in art moved them. It's a list you definitely don't want to miss. On The Habit Coach, Ashton talks about measuring and visualizing the progress of our habits with the help of paper clips. On the season finale of Keeping It Queer, Naveen and Farhad discuss their understanding of a breakup and how to get over them with maturity. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Back here with the EMAs, Abbas himself.
Yes.
A man who grew up in Baikala but way past the gangster prime. Sadly,
No, when I was young, it was pretty
stories,
prominent.
but you wouldn't have seen them. I'm saying you would have...
I didn't see that.
They were like the celebrities of the area and also someone will point out and tell you, this is Yusuf Kalia, this is this one, this is that
Babu
one.
Jalila.
But all these lovely names. then I hit, in MTV days, I hit the bookie circuit. And let me explain what that means.
Yeah.
The cable operators were controlled by the bookies in the initial part. And we had to go and the whole net development, what we call in television, was the important war to fight. So we had to go and meet them and give them whiskey bottles and, chat with them and all.
Mera MTV dikha dena
remember, they had no idea who we were. So, but MTV thought we were celebrities. But they would send us. So they would send Maria Goretti, Mini Mathur and myself. Okay, so at least they're two pretty women. So now, of course, cable operator and bookie is very interested in them. Not for celebrity status, but just for the women. So we cancelled that plan. And in the end, only me and Nikhil Chinnappa went to all these places. And I would meet people like Vicky Chembur. How can you... I'm looking... myself, Vicky Chembur. And they would have speaking English.
I think
like, how can you call yourself Vicky Chembur? That's shameful. Who calls himself,
I think the pain of
Mahesh Mahim here.
the pain of doing that is still, you can still hear that in Nikhil's music. So
yes, true. You can hear Vicky Chembur screaming, "Band karo, band karo, band karo."
So
listen, you and your Rajesh Khanna, Tina Munim fixation from way back when. The world has gone forward. Chinnappa has taken the world forward with techno, man.
Imagine if Dimple had sort of given a divorce and they had married. Bichara Anil Ambani ka kya hota? Think about it.
That's what you're thinking.
No, I'm just thinking. It's a
no American election for you.
It's a great counterfactual. Yeah,
no American election.
Think about.
Okay, the first one.
I can think of many births that wouldn't have happened if people didn't get married over the centuries. Many. We can do a whole separate show.
Many of them.
Oh boy. EMA time, brother.
First question comes from Tejas. He says, "Hi Cyrus, there is a perception that the huge Statue of Unity is not as inspirational as, say, the Statue of Liberty in New York or the Motherland Calls in Russia."
Is it a Me Too situation? As in a different version of the Me Too spin?
As in all about the Joneses?
No, like they've already done the Statue of Liberty and that's the big one. Give me your poor, your whatever, your refugees. And then we do a version of something. And why do we take the same name?
Statue of Patel.
I think
your Gujarati stand has not been appreciated.
No, but I think that the geography of it does have a lot to do with that. Right?
I think the problem is
the way it's positioned.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Where it is? Who goes to Ahmedabad if you don't have business? I mean,
exactly
no, you're right. So if it was Gateway of India and you're looking out or something, it would make more sense. Why can't he replace the Statue of Liberty? Why can't we send it to New York and say, okay, now you put this one up?
Maybe.
Humor me. Think of it.
Why not?
The world is going in that direction.
Why not?
Statue of Liberty, you had 40 good years. Come on.
Not 40, a lot more than
250, whatever it was. France, right? Didn't France donate it?
France in I think the mid 1800s.
Because the French said, what an ugly woman this turned out to be. Let's give it to the Americans. But you're like, wow, lovely. Oh, cultures.
So they like it. The Americans like...
Don't attack Gujaratis, Arabs, or any other, I don't know.
No, what I was saying is Americans like it big, so...
Oh. When our only professional journalist on the show starts doing double entendre, we should just spin the hell out of the studio.
So his question was, you never got me into the question. He says those
does it matter?
Those monuments depict the ideals of aspiration of a nation as opposed to specific individuals.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, but let's not give Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel a bad name. I mean, let's not, because to try and attack the BJP for what they've done, we shouldn't just attack the person. I think they're two different things altogether. But I also don't like this title, Spirit of Unity.
It's a nationalist kind of thing, right? And when you look at nationalism, it's not as great as aspirational. No, I'm not a fan of nationalism. I think nationalism is
the message on the Statue of Liberty is a lot more humane. in a sense.
But see, the thing here is
nuance
doesn't work in India. Tacky does.
True.
So,
which is coming from a man who grew up in Rajesh Khanna. Yeah. So yes.
No, I mean, and even tacky. I mean, you heard that.
No, I didn't hear that. You're banned. You're suspended. In football terms, I'm red carding you for 3 matches, young man. If I red card you for mediocrity on the humor space, you've really got to look at yourself.
This one comes from Rajiv Shah. He says, Cyrus...
Rajiv Shah. No, not this Rajiv Shah.
Well, then answer his question very carefully.
Mystery question. Who knows?
Why is it that when something unexpected happens, the expression used is out of the blue? I have been trying to find this on the internet. Can't find it. Can you help me understand?
Yeah. Out of the clear blue sky.
Very good. Superbly done. Out of the blue. It came out from very well.
Yeah.
Very well
that's
put.
What it is.
This out of the blue came out of the blue. Yeah.
I remember Rahul Bose's story on the same subject. His father was a corporate guy, Bengali, Anglophile and all that. But like some of our fathers and uncles and all, they learnt in English, but their language skills were actually very good and the vocabulary was better than yours. But there'll be a mistake here and there. So they were in the car together and Rahul played Ella Fitzgerald and father was very impressed because he's just a teenager, Rahul. And he said, Rahul, Baba, very good. I didn't know you liked the blue.
Oh, poor guy.
True story. It was like, what? and Dad probably knew everything about jazz, everything about Ella Fitzgerald and that whole zamana, but it's not blues, it's blue.
Alright, this last one comes from Siddharth De. Hi Cyrus, I've been binge listening to your podcast every day since I first came across it a few months ago. You and the team at IVM are doing a fabulous job and I look forward to many more episodes.
Yeah.
Then he says, if you Google Cyrus Broacha net worth, you get this as the first hit. It's a picture of you and Kunal Vijayakar and you're holding fake notes, I believe, in your hand.
50 million.
And then under that, it says your net worth is 50 million. So
50 million US or 50
US.
Dude,
he's not investing. Whoa,
even as comedy goes, there should be a line about his vulgarity. I mean, it's so mean. Here we are struggling, really struggling. I mean, it's funny. I don't find this funny. I may be laughing, but I'm not.
You're doing a Bill Gates here. So.
I wish. Why would I come in these dirty pants and this torn t-shirt and chappals?
There's more. He asks, is it true that you are worth $50 million? And if yes, do you attribute that to your take on
Why
spending?
Should we tax you?
Never spending.
He's been really nice by listening to the show and all that, so I think I'm going to just say, whatever, but I could have built my own Statue of Unity, if I had $50 million. I'll be potting myself, Gateway of India, this is Cyrus Broacha, I built the land, who knows? I formed the government on Wednesday, they weren't paying attention, took 3 of my family members, started a campaign.
I think you're the kingmaker in the Maharashtra.
But this is not funny. I'll tell you why it's not funny. I think Amit knows that we're at a particularly tender point in our life, financially speaking, and the last thing we want to know is someone making fun of us and assuming we're rich.
I know.
It's just not funny. Unfair. 50 million.
How can someone live on Malabar Hill and not be rich?
Listen, Malabar Hill is people think because of this charp that it has, but that's another generation that came there and, did well. Lots of people after that have subsequently not done so well. For example, when you try to get things paid for in a building society, there are always 20-25% people have no liquid cash. So they can't match, the other issues.
Also, honestly, both of our parents bought our houses.
Yeah. I understand that.
He didn't want to lecture.
No, that's true.
No, in the sense, obviously.
But 50 million.
Yeah, it says the screenshot he sent. It says
per hour. Go live in Nala Super.
Per
hour you make $1141 and per second you make $0.32 is what the screenshot says.
Per second. Ghee shakkar comes to mind. Ghee shakkar comes to mind.
No, but $0.32 would be what? Around 23
Stop
rupees.
It. Yeah.
Stop
it. Per second or something, boss. Per second.
It's not much.
You don't have to do anything. You're breathing and the money's coming out. You're breathing.
No, you need to be a little better than that. At least 100 rupees to kamao 1 second ka hai. Kya 23 rupees? What is this?
What he should ask is after tax. All right, cheers. What a wonderful year we've had. Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Broacha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
And that's what Cyrus says.
How many times have you caught yourself Googling stuff on health and wondering if it's the right information? How many times have you heard different health experts give opposing views, which has only left you confused? There are rising cases of cancer, heart, diabetes, stress, and autoimmune diseases. Meet the patients and the experts who paved the path of true healing. Join me, Rachna Chachi, cancer nutrition coach and nutritional therapist on Heal and Hearty. I take you through my own journey of recovery from an incurable disease and the journey of so many others who healed only via nutrition and holistic healing. Find the answers you seek for what's good for your health and what's good for your soul. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. Don't forget your date with good health.
Hi guys, this is Ayushi.
And I am Ritasha.
And welcome to Agla Station Adulthood.
It's a fun podcast we've got going on and we'd love for you to tune in and enjoy with us.
Join us as we stop at various stations and discuss different topics that seem to be bothering us and hopefully
dating,
you as well.
Relationships, beauty, just being an adult, lots of different things.
We don't have a great grip on it, but we've done okay so far.
Catch Agla Station Adulthood every Thursday on the IVM app, the IVM website, or wherever else you get your podcasts.